overflow. I'm so grateful that you give to me from your overflow. Okay? Tonight we're going to talk around artistic burnout and how it's not laziness. Tara, we're finally getting started. 34 minutes late, but God loves a trier, right? It's week 2 of Creatives in Recovery. We are here every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Tonight we had some technical issues and seafood stuffed piece of salmon got between me and my goals. And y'all know I'm a foodie, so sometimes the food wins. And here we are finally talking about how artistic burnout or creative burnout or dreamer burnout is not laziness. Tonight's question for the room that we'll explore together for the next hour or so is, what if your lack of discipline is actually your body begging for restoration? What if this thing that you call your lack of discipline, this thing that you're beating yourself up about, man, I wish I were more disciplined. Man, I wish I didn't procrastinate so much. Man, I wish I could accomplish my dreams on time. I wish I could do what I say. I feel awful because I'm not doing what I say. I feel depressed or anxious or panicked and paranoid around my dreams because I don't lack discipline. I lack discipline. I didn't have discipline in high school. I didn't have it in middle school. Now I'm working out these jobs in my life. I went to college. I may have flunked out of college. I may have gotten fired from a couple jobs. I may be keeping the jobs that I have, but I'm not moving upward in that job, or I don't have faith and belief in myself to move into a bigger tax bracket or to make more money and to make a bigger salary or a bigger wage. And it's my lack of discipline. I wish I could have nice things in my life, but it's my lack of discipline that's keeping me stuck. But what if your lack of discipline is actually your body temple or your energy center begging for some restorative justice? This was going to be a little loose tonight because I got my Jesus juice on deck. So pray for us, Tara. What if this thing that you're calling your lack of discipline is actually your body temple or your energetic system begging for restoration? What if the restorative justice that we need in this society is not necessarily for all of the cultural things that are going crazy? What if the restorative justice is for you? What would restorative justice look like for you today? Tara this morning on Clubhouse was talking about how none of us are free until all of us are free. So we need to set ourselves free first, and then the people in our neighborhood or in our homes. Let's take it back a step. Set yourself free first, then set your home free, then set your neighborhood free, then set your zip code free. What if the restorative justice that we're seeking in society begins within us? What if your lack of discipline is actually your body begging you for restoration? So welcome to Creatives in Recovery, a space where artists, performers, entrepreneurs, speakers, writers, dreamers, and visionaries can recover from the things that have stolen our joy, our creativity, our confidence, and our capacity. We are here tonight to recover from the things that have stolen our joy, our creativity, our confidence, and our capacity. Tonight we're talking about something that many creative people and dreamers secretly carry shame about: burnout. Okay? And I'm not talking about being tired for a day. I'm not talking about needing a nap. I'm talking about the kind of exhaustion that makes you question your very identity. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt so exhausted that you questioned your own identity. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm talking about burnout tonight. And we're going to talk about it in very real terms. I see you, OG. not being tired for the day, not needing a little power nap. I'm talking about the kind of exhaustion that makes you question your whole I am. We're going to wake it up tonight. Here are some room agreements tonight that we will abide by in our session. We're going to share from our own experience tonight in the chat and on stage. There will be no fixing of other loved and lovable humans tonight. No fixing, no rescuing, no judgment. Okay? You have full permission to pass, and you have full permission tonight to be exactly where you are. You can say to yourself now, I have permission to be exactly where I am in my life. A lot of us are disturbing ourselves because why am I still stuck in this place, or why have I not moved along faster? I'm giving you permission tonight under this tent to be exactly where you are. Okay? Type one word in the chat tonight for how you are arriving. I know that you're arriving from all over the country. Let me know in the chat, how are you arriving tonight in one word? How are you arriving, honestly, in the chat? I'll hold for this. Are you tired? Are you hopeful? Are you overwhelmed? Are you curious? Are you excited? How are you arriving tonight? And thanks for the taps. Tapping is clapping, and it lets people know that we're doing some good work here. Moonlight is arriving on Benadryl. Okay, please don't drool on me. Tara is a bit run down because she's been all over the place like me today. I'm a little run down as well. Ben is optimistic. Thank you, Ben. Pass me a spoon of that optimism. I love that. Aaron is arriving broken. We heal that here. Love and Action Network is a place for broken people. You have permission to be broken here, and you also have permission here to heal. E is at peace. Very groovy, baby. OG is tired and overwhelmed. We're not going to fix your tired and overwhelmed tonight, and we're not going to fix your brokenness. We're going to hold space for it so that you can come to conclusions about how to heal thyself. Okay? Sometimes you have to lay hands on yourself and say, I am safe, I am full, I am enough. I am safe, I am full, I am enough. One more time. I am safe, I am full, I am enough. That doesn't change the tired, the overwhelmed, being at peace, broken, optimistic, rundown, or the Benadryl. Nothing changes with those words, but you can move forward from a more powerful place over what you're going through if you affirm, I am full, I am safe, I am enough. Many dreamers have been told to work harder, to push through, to hustle. You're welcome, Aaron. You're loved and lovable. You're going to love it here. This is a network of healed and healing, loved and lovable people. Perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. Getting better and better all the time. If you just hang around with us in this pickle juice, if you just hang out with us in this divine brine, in this pickle juice, if you just hang in this loved and lovable pickle juice, you'll start to feel uplifted just by proximity. You are the company you keep. So if you hang around loved and lovable people, you're like, yo, why do I feel better about myself right now? It's because you're hanging out with loved and lovable people. We're loved and lovable in here, and we act like it. Don't you see me acting like it? Invisible? That's none of our business, Jimmy. You accept. It's none of my business what other people accept or don't accept. Some people are going to live their whole life here pushing love away. Not me. Some people are going to live their entire 70, 80, 90 years pushing love away the entire time. Not me. I'm loved and lovable. I have the ability to allow love to penetrate me. Did he just say penetrate? Many dreamers have been told to work harder, to push through. Hey, yo, Moonlight. Many dreamers have been told to push harder, to work through, to work harder, to push through, to hustle. We've been told to stay consistent. We've been told to grind. Duh. Okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you've been told to work harder, to push through. You got to get up on your hustle. You got to stay consistent. Oh, Dr. Flo, everything would be different if you stayed consistent. You got great programs, but you lack the consistency. Your head's not in it. Anybody else has been told to grind harder? I was in a show once, and I was singing as loud and as hard as I could. And I asked the sound engineer to turn up the monitors on the stage so I could hear myself better over the orchestra. He told me to sing harder. He told me to sing harder. I'm like, what the hell? What industry, VV, if you don't want to dox yourself? So many of us have been told to work harder, but very few people ask, what are you recovering from? What are y'all recovering from? Sometimes what looks like laziness is emotional exhaustion or grief or trauma or rejection, financial stress, caregiver fatigue, chronic disappointment, creative depletion. Sometimes that's what laziness looks like. Emotional exhaustion, grief, trauma, rejection, financial stress, caregiver fatigue. We talked about that earlier in the week. We talked about being the strong one and the consequences of being the strong one. Caregiver fatigue, chronic disappointment, creative depletion. I used to work for Stantec, VV. I don't know what firm you work for, but I used to work for Stantec in the water engineering group. And I know that people in engineering are under stress. Billable hours. Civil engineers work in billable. Yeah, I used to work for Stantec for years in the New York hub. So we had civil engineers, we had water engineers, we had architects, we had everybody under one roof. You okay? No, what do they call it? You don't want to have any loss. That utilization, you better keep your utilization up, and you do not want a lot of what is it called? You do not want a lot of loss. That productivity loss. Oh my God, I haven't heard the word utilization in years. I left the firm when C-19 happened. They gave me the option to come back. Oh yeah. They gave me the option in C-19 to come back out of furlough or to take my severance and leave forever. I left forever. I did not want to be tracking utilization and overhead and loss cost. Isn't that what it's called? We had this system. We would log all of our time in Chronos, and we also would log all of our time in Oracle. Have you ever worked and done your billable charge time in Oracle? We would have to log all of our time in Oracle. Yeah. Oh yes, but people don't believe that I work for an engineering firm. Sometimes what looks like laziness is that emotional exhaustion, the grief, the trauma. It's a body that's carrying too much weight, and a body that's carrying all of that will eventually slow down. That isn't weakness, that's biology. Let me know in the chat, when was the last time that you felt genuinely rested? When was the last time that you felt genuinely rested? When was the last time you felt genuinely rested? E says, I can't remember. Moonlight says, I honestly don't remember. Ben says, any day I didn't have to go to work. Congratulations on 26. My manager is 20. My manager is 27. You all have your best days ahead of you. So do I. But you got 15, 16 extra. Live it up. Do not squander your life. VV, I don't know if anybody's ever told you this. Do not squander your life. Do not squander your life. All right, anybody else? Jimmy Jam says the last time he felt genuinely rested was in his 20s, and he's not in his 20s anymore. Okay? Here's another question for you. When you felt rested, what happened afterward? What happened afterward? Thank you, Sharon. You're loved and lovable. Welcome to Love in Action Network. Vivi said it's a hard balance between preparing for the future and enjoying the moment. You do want to give attention to the future, but try to remain as present as possible. You got in a relationship that you shouldn't have got into because you were rested? Is that what you're saying? E says, I felt lighter once I got the rest. Sharon says, I'm hella overwhelmed. In the moment you are? You're overwhelmed right now, Sharon? Moonlight says, I don't think I've ever truly been rested. And Sharon's overwhelmed right now. All right, we're going to talk about some of the reasons why you are overwhelmed. And if you hang around later on in this session, I'll give you antidotes and remedies and help and things to chew on. I never, they say never, but I don't leave sessions without giving you something that's uplifting. But we got to talk about what's really happening first. In order to heal a thing, you have to name a thing. So because Sharon said in the chat, I'm hella overwhelmed, she's perfectly positioned to heal it and to deal with it because she knows how to name it. What you cannot name, you cannot heal. So if you got people in your life that are going, I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know what's going on with me. It's like, yo, you got to come up with a name for what you're going through because you cannot heal what you cannot name. Let's talk about burnout versus laziness. Laziness says, I don't want to. Laziness says, I don't want to. Burnout says, I can't. One more time. Laziness says, I don't want to. Burnout says, I can't. Laziness avoids effort. Burnout struggles to access energy. Laziness feels indifferent. Burnout feels guilty. Laziness isn't usually accompanied by toxic shame. Burnout almost always is. And many dreamers spend years calling themselves lazy while secretly carrying exhaustion. Type a yes in the chat if you've ever called yourself lazy when you were actually overwhelmed. Type a yes in the chat if you've ever called yourself lazy when you were actually overwhelmed. Quilting Cats and Bats says yes. Full says yes. OG says yes. Tara says yuppers. Vivi says, as someone who struggles with shame and guilt, this was profound. You should come to my class on Toxic Shame Be Damned. I have a class that I teach called Toxic Shame Be Damned. It's not in public. It's a private class that happens on Zoom or Google Meet. And you should come to Toxic Shame Be Damned because we talk about all the things, including the things that I can't talk about on TikTok. TikTok is the police. I have to be very, very careful what I say here. But in my private classes, like Toxic Shame Be Damned, we say the quiet part out loud. It's called Toxic Shame Be Damned. It's a class I teach to get to the root of where our toxic shame and guilt comes from and to pluck it out. Pluck it out. There's a poem that we use to anchor Toxic Shame Be Damned as a class. Half of the poem I can't even read on TikTok because I would get banned. Ask Tara. I've read that poem online and gotten shut down. But it's the anchor text of Toxic Shame Be Damned. And it goes through and it talks about every way in which toxic shame shows up in our lives. That for some of us, toxic shame started in our mother's womb. I don't have time to talk about this tonight. I already started late because of the salmon. And this is not for that. But for some of us, and I just want you to chew on this, some of your toxic shame started in your mother's womb before you were born. Well, we're not here for that. We're not here for that. But we can get into it. That's what my private classes are for. Uh-oh, Tara. Tara, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. So yeah, come to Toxic Shame Be Damned. It's a private session. And we can get to the root. You don't have to chew it. You don't have to chew it. Type a yes in the chat if you've ever called yourself lazy when you're actually overwhelmed. Type a yes if you've ever called yourself lazy when you're actually overwhelmed. Does anybody want to pop up tonight and share about calling yourself lazy when you're really overwhelmed? You got to get to the root. Ben, you want to come up? Throw me a invite. Let's do some deep diving tonight. Toss me an invite. Toss me invites. Let's talk about lazy and calling yourself lazy. All right. And let's keep our shares to we'll keep our shares to like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to give people space. Vivi, welcome to the stage. Have you called yourself lazy when you were really overwhelmed in the past or in the present?
Mm-mm.
Tell me about it.
Oh. Yeah. So Let me know if the audio is bad. I
Oh my God,
just switched
VV's a
over, but
dude,
um,
a dude energy. Hey VV, nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Flo. Yeah, you're good. Go
hey,
for it.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just told you I'm an engineer. The engineering school, I think a lot of people take pride in being overworked. It's very much like if you're not suffering, if you're not hating your life, then you're not doing it right. And I don't want to compare it to the military, but in a way, it definitely is like there's a lot of people that are gluttons for punishment, right? And they almost fetishize it from my point of view. Um, and I was at a point where I was, let's see, I had an internship, I had two part-time jobs, I was the president of a club, I was doing school full time, and I was also doing two research projects part time, seasonally. And this was all happening simultaneously. And that I told myself that this was all for the greater good. This was going to pay out. This is going to, do something for me. And I was always falling behind on stuff. I kept saying yes to things. I kept saying this will make me look better. This will make me be a better engineer. This will make me stand out among my peers. And I just couldn't. I just couldn't follow through with everything, and I was burning myself out. I was having ideations of things that I can't speak to, and at that point, I just kind of realized that I needed to prioritize my mental health because nobody else was going to do it for me. And that was the only thing that could really get me out of it was to just focus on my mental health and really get mad at people if I felt like they were getting in the way of that. Um, it's the one thing that they can't take from me. So that's my short version.
Brother, number one, thank you for your courage and coming up and chatting with me tonight. I appreciate your share. We would arrive at like 8 in the morning at the firm and not leave until 8 at night. You know how the lights in these corporate buildings will like turn off if there's no motion? And we would often be sitting in the dark, still working on projects until 8, 9 o'clock at night. And the senior engineers, the ones that had vice president status, they would be there the longest. And in these corporate environments, you get rewarded for breaking yourself down. And for you to prioritize your mental and say like, yo, I'm going to be kind to myself first. That takes extreme courage when the whole stream is pushing you towards more productivity. Are you there right? Oh my God, with the triple screen
That's what I'm doing right
setup.
now.
Oh my God, not the triple screen. Dude. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my God. What is the name of that vector
I just had to
software?
show you that,
What is the name of that vector
but
software?
yeah,
You don't talk about the software that does all of the AutoCAD. Is that what that
yeah, I'm
is?
doing AutoCAD right now. That's
Ah!
what this is.
Ah! I'm not laughing
Yeah,
at you.
yeah,
I just had a flashback.
yeah. That's
Oh my
exactly what I'm doing over here.
God. All right.
No, you
My,
should be laughing at me. I feel like a clown.
no, no, you're not a clown. You're one of the smart people in the world,
It's a
and
joke. It's a joke.
yeah, it's all good. Well, I bless your AutoCAD journey and your time at the firm. Come through anytime so we can love on you more, and hopefully you'll feel a bit lifted by the session tonight. I appreciate you,
Hey,
brother.
well, I appreciate it, man.
You're so loved and lovable. Thank you so much to VV. Oh, VV, my engineer buddy. Erica's on the stage now, going to tell us a bit about being or feeling like you're lazy when you're actually overwhelmed. Welcome to the stage.
Hello, wholeness, everybody.
Wholeness.
I will go with being oh, yes, 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 all day, every day these days. I love it. But I would say raising my children when they were younger, just the everyday life, just, pushing myself, and just feeling so guilty to be so tired, when thinking I'm lazy and feeling lazy when in reality, I was just completely overwhelmed, never really taking that time out or prioritizing that time, that self time, that wellness. So, yeah, it took a minute to learn grace for myself. But yeah, as a mom, you sometimes kind of are more harder on yourself than you should be, and that can reflect your overwhelmness or your exhaustingness can come off as feeling at times that you think that you're lazy or you just it's never enough. So I was really grateful to be able to get to a space in my life where I felt like, wow, you know i I deserve this grace. This is the time that I need to kind of overfill my cup and kind of, be able to get back into it without the negative thought of, if I was to stop, everything's gonna fall. So that's what I would say. That would be the one time in my life, well, one of the biggest times in my life where I could have confused laziness with just being exhausted.
And I love that you mentioned one of my favorite Pee Wee's Playhouse words of the week. You remember Pee Wee's Playhouse where they would say the magic word and everybody would go, ah! My Pee Wee's Playhouse word of
I
the week
do.
is grace. Grace. A magical elixir and a cure for that overwhelmed feeling. You said it. You taught the lesson tonight. It is to give yourself more grace. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you, Erica, so much for coming up on the stage. Vivi and Erica, champions, champions. All right, we got to move forward because I'm already running late because of the salmon dinner. I'm so thrilled you all are here. If you're new to Love in Action Network, we do 3 things on this platform and beyond. We encourage people, we equip people, and we empower people. If you're hanging around in our lives or if you're around in my energy, I'm doing my best to encourage you. Even if you're still hanging out at the firm on a late night, 8 o'clock p.m., if you're still knee deep in AutoCAD, I'm here to encourage you, to equip you, and to empower you to get it done. You're going to reap if you don't faint. Okay? Grab a piece of paper if you can. We're going to do a reflection exercise. Here's the question, and you all can put it in the chat or write it down on a piece of paper. It's up to you. I appreciate you, Vivi. You sound like one of the guys on the 12th floor of Stantec. There's somebody sitting right where you are on the 12th floor, well, the 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th, and 29th floor of the New York base of Stantec. There's somebody doing exactly what you're doing right now, so you're not alone. The question is, what are you carrying? Make a list of what you're carrying. Are you carrying responsibilities? Are you carrying expectations? Are you carrying worries? Are you carrying obligations? Are you carrying projects? Now that I know that VV is an engineer, it's going to be like our inside joke. Are you carrying projects and project numbers? Are you carrying relationships? Are you carrying financial pressures? What are y'all carrying tonight? Lisa's carrying way too much. I understand that. Vivi, and I hope Vivi isn't like one of the guys that actually is working on like a group project, but having to do it's just like we talk about it all the time in Love and Action Network. High school never ends. So the same people that were not doing all of the work on the group assignment, but still getting the group assignment grade, those people exist at engineering and architecture firms. Most engineering teams are carried by like 1 or 2 people who are actually doing the work. It's crazy out here. What are you carrying? Sway said carrying other people's lives today. Ben says carrying others' burdens. TikTok's having an issue tonight, but we're just gonna flow with it. We're just gonna flow. Love to everybody who's carrying others' burdens. E says expectations. Moonlight says I carry feeling like a burden, a skewed sense of self and self-value, and anxiety over life. Vivi says I rely on people to equip me with the skills to carry everyone else. Yeah. And Lisa says, interestingly enough, I'm tired of carrying a mirror. Are you talking about that ability to shine back and reflect to other people what they may or may not want to see? And then Sway speaking to the isolation that comes from avoiding others because you don't want to carry as much. All right, here's the next part for the follow-up. Look at the list and look at the things that you all have shared. And looking at your list, would you expect another human being carrying all of that to feel energized every day? Looking at your list, would you expect another human being carrying all of that to feel energized every day? When you are a mirror in this life, Lisa, and you show people the truth of who they are, positive, negative, neutral, you can become public enemy number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What we must learn, well, you ain't got to do shit. I almost said what you must learn to do, but you ain't got to do shit you don't want to do. I'm going to invite you, Lisa, as it relates to being a mirror, I'm going to invite you to not take things personally. That's one of the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. For those of you who've read the book, I'm going to invite you, if you're a mirror and you show people the good, the bad, the indifferent, positive, negative, neutral, if you're a person who mirrors back to people something that they don't want to see about themselves, it's important that you don't take their reaction to you personally. Hey, Avi, it's good to see you. Don't take it personally. Tara says, right, mirrors don't have to take anything. We could see it and let them deal with it. Yeah. You can go into the bathroom in your house right now. You can go into the bathroom at the mall or at the grocery store or wherever you have mirrors around. My dressing rooms. Mirrors don't scream. There are no screaming mirrors in your house. There are no complaining mirrors in your house. They just reflect back what they see with indifference. And then once you move on, they move on. Anybody ever seen a screaming mirror? So some of us as empaths and as light workers and as spiritualists and as mirrors, we go around saying, oh my God, I'm a mirror and nobody likes that I'm a mirror and it's so bad that I'm a mirror. You're the most complaining mirror I've ever fucking seen. Because mirrors don't scream or complain. They just reflect it back. They don't take it personally. And when you move on, it moves on. No wacky mirrors here. No circus mirrors. I would love to share the load and help others, but I'm afraid we're a house of cards. Yeah. Part of People Pleasers Anonymous, and that's another room that I teach on TikTok weekly. People Pleasers was on Tuesday nights. We gather for People Pleasers on TikTok every Tuesday night at 7 p.m., hopefully on time. And one of the affirmations of People Pleasers Anonymous, Vivi, is granting yourself the serenity to know what's yours to carry and what's not yours to carry. And people who struggle with people pleasing are often trying to carry it all because they feel like things are going to fall apart if they don't carry it. We talked about this earlier in the week. Rejection, disapproval, all of that weighs on people who are trying to be people pleasers. But we're asking for the serenity to know what's ours to carry and what's not ours to carry. All right. What are some of the signs that tell you that burnout is approaching? What are you looking for in your life, in your zip code, in your home, or in your internal space? What are y'all looking for that tells you that burnout is coming? We're almost there. And thank you to everybody who endured me eating that stuffed salmon at the top of this class. I know there's a fish smell throughout the entire building, but boy, oh boy, was it good. Sway, this is good. Sway, I love that you're here. I love that you're part of our community. I love that you're holding it down in Texas because I love as a coach and as a counselor and as a mentor when people have an aha, and I felt the aha. That's something for your journal and your private time with your ancestors. What are the signs that tell you that burnout is approaching? I love that giant IDK. You don't have to answer right now, but that's a bing, 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 bing for you. This happens in my private coaching and counseling every day. Someone goes, well, damn, Dr. Flo. And that oh wow IDK, that means you're getting into something positive for you. I love that, Sway. Not singling you out in Texas, but that IDK, I noticed that because, yeah, what are the signs that it's approaching? Not that it's here. Most people can tell you what's going on when it's here, but how do you see it coming across the mountain when she comes? Let's read some of these things here. Vivi says, if I get snippy or more pessimistic. That's my brother from another mother. I got two brothers I got Vivi and I got Ben Ben now. I have so much resonance with these guys. I have so much resonance. He says, if I get snippy or more pessimistic, I get, they call my snippy sassy. They call my snippy sassy. But if I get snippy or more pessimistic, they call it sassy in my neck of the woods. That's how I know that burnout is coming too. E says change of emotional stability, riding that roller coaster. Yes. Full says not cleaning or keeping up with house chores. Yes. Thank you for speaking that. I can always tell when my life is going into burnout when things start to get cluttered as well. That's big. Tara says usually neck aches and migraines. That's physical and physiological. Full says irritability. Moonlight says my body reacts before my mind does. Lisa says emotional dysregulation. Huge. Sharon said, sorry, my phone died. I'm back. Your phone had burnout. Your phone had burnout. How does your phone know that burnout is approaching? It turns the fuck off. I'm joking, Shannon. I'm glad you're back. I'm sorry, Sharon. I'm glad you're back. Binman says my connection is horrible. I'm going to restart my phone. Sway says it's already here before I notice. The connection's having issues. Yeah, the connection is having issues. TikTok tonight has been really up and down. So if y'all don't get the whole thing, I'll put up the replay for you. Just message me and I'll get you the replay. I'm recording it here on this side so that I can put it up later because TikTok is they're telling me that my audio is breaking and all sorts of things. TikTok has not been a friend tonight, but that's okay. We're friends to each other. Some of the examples that burnout is approaching can be procrastination, isolation, cynicism, brain fog, irritability, someone said, a loss of excitement. Next question. I hope y'all can hear me okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. What have you been blaming yourself for lately? What have you been blaming yourself for lately? All right. So it's not up and down for us all. Yeah, TikTok is doing some kind of update or something. It's free, so we can't sue them. What have you been blaming yourself for lately? I'll give a couple minutes for this to breathe. What have you been blaming yourself for lately? Vivi says unhealthy habits. Space says not finding love, house issues, lack or relationships. That's real. I've had and have from time to time all of those things. Unhealthy habits. My Apple Watch, Vivi, told me a couple days ago that my sleeping habits suck. My Apple Watch told me that my sleep score is low and that I need to do better. That's one of my worst unhealthy habits. I stay up too late and I don't get enough sleep. Sometimes I'll get anxious before bed. Sometimes I'll get really, really anxious or stirred up before bed, and then I won't go to bed until like 3 or 4 in the morning. That's one of my unhealthy habits. Moonlight says not having a job and income. E says wanting more rest. Fool says, I don't think I've been blaming myself for much now, though I could see where I perhaps dropped the ball. Space says not having hobbies. What is MMJ? Oh, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I know what that is. Don't tell me. Oh, man. But you do know that she will also disrupt your sleep if you're not careful. She can disrupt it too. I know now. I know. Miss Mary Mack. She used to put me down to sleep, but then she'd also get me up at 3 in the morning too. She'd put me down, but then she'd also like startle me at 4 a.m. as well. So I had to be careful there. We could talk about that some other time too, but not in front of the police. Not in front of the police. Now, you told me about what you're blaming yourself for. Do you have any ideas of what your restoration might look like? What would restoration actually look like? Not vacation, not escape, restoration. What are some of the things that replenish you? Drop in the chat some of the things that replenish you. And then I'm going to talk for the last few minutes about my recovery framework. I told you I never leave you without giving you some tools. I never point out the wounds without giving you some ointment. Yes, Sway, do that. Do that. Especially if you start to feel like you are doing better and you don't need them, stay on them. E says, reach my goals to the fullest. Avi says, good food. Sway is going to stay on her fucking meds. Vivi says, time to prioritize my living situation and reinforce good habits. Give myself a full status check. That's good. Check in with your chakras. Check in with who you are. VV, big brother here. Check in with who you are, how you feel, how you're doing and what you're doing, what you're loving, what you're speaking, what you're seeing with your physical eyes and your spiritual eyes, and what you know and understand in your crown king. That's your full status check amongst whatever else you want to do. Okay? Check in with who you are. Check in with how you feel. Check in what you're doing or not doing that's good for you and your highest good. Check in where your love is flowing. Check in on what you're saying and what you're speaking to yourself and out loud. Check in on what you're seeing in spirit and in physical. And also adjust that crown, king. Queens, kings, adjust that crown. Adjust that crown. Your crown has already been paid for. Put it on. I'll say it one more time. Your crowns have already been paid for. Put them on. Avi says that he would give himself good rest, resources, happy people around him. Moonlight said they would not be stressed about bills and debt. Sway said they would be getting sun and going outside. Full also said sun. Yeah, I'm a vampire too. I work from home. It's hot out there. But the sun apparently is good for us. Yeah, we're supposed to be out in the sun and soaking in those good vibes and rays. All right, let's talk about it. There are 4 forms of restoration: physical restoration, emotional restoration, creative restoration, and spiritual restoration. And here is the medicine. Dr. Flo is my stage name, but here's the medicine. Okay? Physical restoration is sleep, hydration, nutrition, and physical movement with your body. Physical restoration. Okay? Emotional restoration is honest conversations like the ones that we're having tonight. Crying, therapy, support groups. I love a good support group. Creative restoration is making something in your life and creating something without needing to monetize it. Okay? Making things without monetizing. Creative restoration is also playing and experimenting. You know? Showering with somebody. I'm joking. When I worked on cruise ships almost 20 years ago, there were signs all over the cruise ship that said, "Save water, shower with a friend." It was so funny to me. It had 2 people on the sign underneath the water, and it would say, "Save water, shower with a friend." Sway. Shower with a friend. I loved a good friend with benefit situation when I was out being a hoe. Now I have my manager. We've been together for over 3 years, going on 4 years. He is my ultimate friend with benefits. I stand by that. I used to sleep with a lot of my friends. If you can do it in a healthy, honoring way, I'm all about that life. Oh, yeah. See, I don't let that happen all the time either, Moonlight. And the last area of restoration is spiritual restoration. Prayer, meditation, nature, talking about that sun, nature, silence, and community. One of the best things you can give yourself is silence. If you can get up in the morning 10, 15, 20 minutes earlier, put on a track from Insight Timer. Y'all know I've been talking about Insight Timer for ages. This is a free app that you can download, Insight Timer. And if you just download that free app and you put on the track, if you just sit in silence and just give yourself a sound bath, of course, like sit in silence, but then he's asking me to play the music, make it make sense. But my silence is often, y'all, when y'all come to watch me cook on TikTok and stuff, you always hear like the flutes and the singing bowls and stuff. I'll sit in silence and let the sound bath. Yeah. Music is mathematic, and it's also spiritual. I would say that if you are playing instruments, and we're all entitled to our opinions, so don't take it personally, Vivi, but if you play an instrument, you're just as much connected to the magic of frequency as any other spiritual person. Frequency magic is a thing, and some would call it spiritual, but you don't have to. Counting is great. I love frequency magic though. Playing instruments, tones, 432 hertz. Anybody else in the room? 432 hertz. 432 hertz will get your life together. YouTube 432 hertz and just sit in that for like 15 minutes a day and then tell me later how you feel. Sit in 432 hertz. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. So prayer, meditation, nature, silence, and community. And you all being in here, I know that Vivi doesn't consider himself to be a spiritual person, but being in community in spaces like this is a spiritual practice. And it's a spiritual form of restoration. Some of you have felt the restoration by just hanging out with Dr. Flo and Tara E, Moonlight, Sway, Full, Avi, Aaron, Angie, just being shoulder to shoulder with other people who are on their healing pathway. Very, very spiritually restorative, this thing called community. And a lot of people have started acting like community is a 4-letter word. Have y'all seen that out in the world? Have y'all seen that out in the world? There are people or robots that say, everybody's talking about community, but community's fucked. I don't need community. I've been betrayed by community. You know, I don't need community. I got myself. I don't think we were meant to carry everything alone. Yes, it's awful. It's especially awful, Vivi, the pulling yourself up by the bootstraps is crazy if you ain't got no boots. It ain't funny. But those pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But what if I ain't got no boots or straps? I can't pull myself up by my own bootstraps if I ain't got no boots and no straps. Make it make sense. All right. Of those 4 areas, physical restoration, emotional restoration, creative restoration, and spiritual restoration, which of these areas needs your most attention tonight? Which of these areas needs your most attention right now? Do you need to point your energy towards physical restoration, emotional, creative, spiritual? Which area, in your opinion, because remember, you're the expert on you. I'm not the expert on you. You're the expert on you. Which of these areas needs the most attention right now? Moonlight says physical and emotional. I feel good with the other 2. Wonderful analysis. You are the expert on you. Very nice. Vivi says same, physical and emotional. Great, great, great. Avi says physical. Good to know. For you to know, not for me to know. For you to know. Good to know. Anybody else? Physical, emotional, creative, or spiritual? You are. You are. I come from a religious tradition where the pastors and the elders and the traveling ministers always thought that they knew more about me and about us than we knew about ourselves. They would say crazy things like, God told me to tell you. If God is powerful, why couldn't that presence tell me themselves? I don't understand why the energy they call God would pass over my house and tell them what the fuck I had going on. Was God getting billed by the minute? Don't even get me started. What are you shocked to hear? That God would tell other people something? But don't even get me started on the Catholics, because the Catholics think that they need to whisper in a little booth to another human their secrets. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that little box that y'all whisper to. Not you, you're ex-Catholic, but they step into a little box and they whisper through a little door and tell and confess their sins to another human who can then guilt trip them later about it. Smells and bells. Smells and bells, my friend. Smells and bells. We've gotten here, y'all. Final prompt. And we did it in an hour and 20. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not. Sorry. Crazy copy paste job. What did you realize tonight? Tonight I realized. Fill in the blank. What did you realize tonight? Any ahas tonight? And thank you, Vivi and Erica, for coming up on the stage and sharing from your heart. It was so great to hear my soul brother and soul sister, Vivi and Erica, speak their truth. That really, really moved me. Moonlight realized tonight that I need to go to the other class. Talk about toxic shame be damned. Tonight, Vivi learned that I look for problems within myself like laziness instead of accepting the situation. Oh, that's so good, Vivi. I look for problems within myself like laziness instead of accepting the situation. Yeah, everybody would be more censored here. This is the internet. The internet's forever. And you know TikTok is the police. But please don't come into my other sessions confessing no crimes and no shit like that, because I record those sessions too for the protection of everybody. I don't release the footage, but I do record it for everybody's protection. But you know that already because you signed off on your membership agreement. My Planet Fitness has cameras. But yeah, you don't have to censor yourself in my private sessions. Any other realizations? Very aware that it's hard to beat institutionalized behavior and family issues. Challenging and hard, not impossible, friend. We will walk with you hand in hand through all the things. Maybe hard, not impossible. Sway realized tonight that they've been burnt out since they were 19. Working 2 jobs for 10 years did not help. We got to return you to the physical, emotional, creative, and spiritual restoration. Physical, emotional, creative, and spiritual. For those of you all listening back in the podcast, that's Poppy going to get his headphones and threatening a fly in our apartment. Come on, Vivi. Vivi says, if it's your Planet Fitness, then you'll need a hunk alarm when I join. How much did you bench, Vivi? And words don't teach. You have to show me.
We have a no coitus rule for bathroom.
And Poppy says we have a no coitus policy for the bathrooms. Because at Planet Fitness, there's a lot of things that go down in the bathrooms, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're going to move along. Sway says, that's what I can't catch it before it happens. I stay burnout. We're going to work on that together. We're going to work on seeing the burnout coming and building you a unique plan of action. That's why we call ourselves Love in Action Network, because if you preemptively put your love in action and start working with this, it will start to soothe for you. You don't have to stay burned out all the time. You're going to put your love in action. Oh, yeah, I don't bench either. I'm the lady over on the elliptical, just listening to my gospel. Oh, love to your girlfriend. I love love. I really do. I love love. Any other realizations? All right. Here's the final encouragement of the night. You are not a machine. Repeat after me. I am not a machine. I am not a content factory. I am not a productivity app. I'm a human being with a nervous system. Sometimes recovery looks like momentum. Sometimes recovery looks like rest. Both are sacred. Once again, I am not a machine. I am not a content factory. I am not a productivity app. I'm a human being with a nervous system. Sometimes recovery looks like momentum for me. Sometimes recovery looks like rest for me. Both are sacred. Tara's saying, well, fuck, so I got to say it one more time. I am not a machine. I am not a content factory. I'm not a productivity app. I am a human being with a nervous system. Sometimes recovery looks like momentum. Sometimes my recovery looks like rest. Both are sacred. Take this question with you as you leave tonight. And once again, you can catch the replay of this event over on Substack, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Just DM me and I'll send you the link. It'll take about 15 to 20 minutes for me to get it up. That's a dirty joke in there. So it does not take me 15 to 20 minutes to get it up. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes to get up the podcast. Let's be very clear about it. It does not take me 15 to 20 minutes to get it up. That'd be a problem. That would be a problem. What if the next breakthrough in your creative life doesn't come from pushing harder, but from finally allowing yourself to heal? What if the next breakthrough in your creative life doesn't come from pushing harder, but from finally allowing yourself to heal? If this conversation helped you tonight, follow, connect, and invite another dreamer who may be carrying more than they let the world see. Recovery is not the opposite of creativity. Recovery is often what makes creativity possible again. Creative, recovering, becoming together. Go to lovedandlovable.org to learn more about our work here. I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. You're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. On behalf of Tara, Vivi, Bin, Swavy, Jimmy Jams, Avi, and Angie, and everybody in our global network of love and action, always stay in your power, stay in your joy, and stay loved and lovable. We'll see you very, very soon around the network.